Okay, here we go. This is going to be a big one. This is the restaurant app at the end of CIS 265. So it's going to be a monster. I've got my coffee. We're in lockdown here. We might as well make an app. I've downloaded App Development with Swift book, and on the 5th page there's the project files. I've downloaded those. I think it's the 5th page. Let's see here. Yeah, here's the student files. I've downloaded those. And again, we're in the 5th chapter, the guided project restaurant at the end. So basically they want you to make a menu for a restaurant where you can add items and check your order. But they've provided you with a server that you run locally. I keep highlighting things by accident. Okay, so let's take a look at this file that they provided us. So if you, in your downloaded files, there's this restaurant, open restaurant server here. I'm going to actually make a new folder of my own and call it Dave's Restaurant. Restaurant's a very hard word to spell. And I've already kind of been experimenting with this server. I'm going to stop the server that I was running. And let's quit it, start over. And so here is the restaurant server. I'm going to copy this whole thing and throw it in here. I'm going to even call this server, because I want to keep all my files together. I don't want to mess with the original server that they sent us. So now I've got that, and I can get rid of those student resources. So here's the server. In the book, they ask you to double click on it and take a look what happens. So you double click on it. And by the way, make sure you download the latest version of the book. There's like an old version of the book where the server doesn't work on Mac OS. And I'm going to click the start button, and now it says this server is running. Everyone see that? We can click edit categories, and that will open up. And when we edit the categories, it opens up this little array of strings. Edit menu items, and it opens up this JSON file. And we're looking at the data structure here so that we know what we're going to do later. And it looks like the images are just numbered 1 through 6 and they're PNG files. Now, the book also wants you to open up a web browser. And let me see if I still have it in my memory. Nope, I don't. They want you to paste in this localhost 8090. There you go. Localhost :8090. You might have to put the HTTP in front of it. I'm going to do /menu also. And there's our menu also. And let's take a look in the book here, because I'm kind of skipping ahead just a hair. So I want you to run the server here. Click the buttons. Check it out. Check it out. It talks about like what it wants the app to do. I mean, basically the user logs in. They can look at items, add things to their order, and then check how long their order will take to prepare. They want it to be 2 navigation controllers in a tab view. They want us to conform to Codeable also. Okay, let's get started. Let's make a new project in Xcode. If you ever click this Xcode button and nothing happens, check to make sure you don't already have Xcode open somewhere, and then close all the windows and click it again. New Xcode project. We'll just make it a single view app because we're just going to delete what they have and start over. So Dave's Restaurant? Okay. Make sure it's Swift. Make sure it's Storyboard. I'm not going to check any of these boxes down here. And I actually want to put it in the folder I created on the desktop here. That way I keep all my files together. Okay, the first thing it wants us to do is to check out this info plist and add something to the end of the info plist. Now, info property lists are weird in that when you want to add something to the root directory here, this info plist root directory, you just click the plus sign. I think you can click it anywhere. Yeah, pretty much. But if you expand a window down here and then click the plus sign, then it adds something to this last item. So make sure all the items are closed, like not expanded, and click plus at the end here. And then it wants us to add something to the transport security settings. So it's like app space transport. So start typing that until it says app transport security settings and hit enter so it auto completes for you. All right, that creates a new dictionary. So I'm going to expand that dictionary. So open it up and click the plus sign again. Actually, before we do that, let's go to the book because there's some specific key it wants us to change. NS allows networking here. So I'm going to click the plus sign there. Now paste in NS allows local networking. Hit enter. And then change this no to a yes. Great. We're doing great. Now, if we collapse that, it should be inside there. Good. App transport security settings allows local networking. Okay. Now I've got that done. And that just allows the app to use the server that you want to make. Let's take a look at this picture here. So yeah, they want 2 nav controllers and a tab view controller. So there's 2 tabs on the bottom of the screen and each of them have table views. This looks like a lot. Let me show you how to do that like super fast. It's easy. So go to the main storyboard. And let's select this and just delete it. It's garbage. I hate it. Now open up do you see I click this plus sign up here? That opens up the new object thingy. And let's look for nav controller. One here. Drop it in there. Hit the plus sign again. My laptop's mad at me. And then another one down here. Okay, you just drag them anywhere in this gray area here. I'm going to zoom out a little so I got some room to work. And let's move these 2 items just a little. If I could just move them down, please. Okay. Then select these first 2 ones. So drag a box around these first 2. And click the editor up here. Embed in tab bar controller. Boom. Okay. Select the first one here. Right? And then make it the initial view controller. So that there's a little arrow going to it at the front there. So that way, when you start the app, it knows where the first screen is. Okay. Next thing the book actually wanted you to do, you can tell I've done this once before because I accidentally just recorded the first 30 minutes without my microphone on, which was good practice. So imagine the rest of now we're all caught up and the rest of this lesson is going to be just me winging it. Okay. So select this title up here and click the prefers large titles. I don't know why the book thinks this is very important to do right now, but that's what it said. So when you select the title up here, make sure that this tab is selected and then click that. Really critical right now. It's key to really work on that design before you've even made the thing work. Okay. Let me pause it and see what the book wants next. All right, well, this I think is important down here. They want the one tab to be a menu and the other tab to be your order. Kind of makes sense. So down here at the bottom, click on this thingy here. And we're going to call this one menu. And this one your order. If you accidentally put like 1 on the wrong side, you can actually just drag and you can actually just drag and move them. So don't worry about that. Okay, and the title here, I got to assume we want it from title to be to match. Maybe not. Let's just wait on that. Okay, book. So the book says, all right, now let's make some table view controllers, which is great. They want us to make one that's called category table view controller and one that's called menu table view controller to start with. Sorry, I'm reading here. Okay, let me put this up here so I can kind of reference it. They want a couple things. They want us to make some table view controller classes. So go ahead and click File. Well, first let's make sure you're you're selected inside the folder here somewhere. File, new file, Cocoa Touch class. So not just a generic Swift file, but a Cocoa Touch class that'll preload some stuff that you need. And let's just drop this down here. And UI table view controller. If you don't see that, you can type it in here. The first one they want us to call is category. So category table view controller in the language of Swift. And don't create a zip file, a nib file, or whatever you want to call it. Make sure it's in the right spot. It is. Okay. Create a new Cocoa Touch class called Category Table View Controller. Make it subclass of UI Table View Controller. Yeah, it already is. Repeat this step 2 more times using Menu Table Controller. Okay, here we go. So Menu Table Controller and Order Table Controller. All right, so just do that 2 more times. So basically, file. No, not in books. You don't want to create a new book. You want to create a new Swift file. So select Xcode, File, New, File, Cocoa Touch class, go. One's going to be called Menu Table View Controller. Same spot, yeah. And the other one, file, new file, is going to be called Order. Okay. Create it there. Now, it would not be a bad idea right now to start with MVC. You know what I'm saying? So inside of here, we're going to make a new group. And one's going to be called Model. New group. One's going to be called View. New group. And one's going to be called Controller. And let's throw all the controller things in there. So the controller things we just made, we'll throw those in the controller folder. The view is going to have the storyboard, the assets maybe. The launch storyboard go in there too. This view controller can just go to H, right? So let's delete that. Pardon my expressions. But this is college, right? Okay, app delegate. I'm going to leave the app delegate, scene delegate, info plist here because I don't know. Sometimes those things like to be exposed. I think the app delegate can actually go in the controller, but and the scene delegate too. But the info plist, don't mess with that. Leave that in this primary directory where everything's get all messed up. Okay. So I mean, I assume now that we've made those controllers, we've got to like connect them to something, right? So let's look at our storyboard here again. And this top one here is the menu. So menu, and so this, they said this should be our categories. So we should select that, make it the categories. Select this one. This is the orders, your order here. So I'm going to assume this is your order. So plus, let's do another table view controller, it says. So just type in table, choose the yellow one, throw it in over here. And this one, when you select it, let's make that one the menu. So when they select something here, it takes them to the menu over there. And we'll see how they want us to do that. There's so many ways you can do that. We'll see how the book wants you to do it, though. It should push to the menu table view is what it's saying. Push. That's a clue for us. Thanks, printer. I love when my printer just decides to clean itself or whatever. Okay, here's the clue. Now, control drag from the prototype cell to the menu table view controller, creating a show segue from one to the other. Okay, so what they're saying is you like find this little white space here, hold down control, click and drag it from here to there, and then choose show. Makes a little arrow there. Perfect. Done, right? Not even close. We're like on the first page. Now you got your 3 table views. What about the detail screen? When user taps the table cell in menu table view controller, it should push to a screen with information about the selected item. All right, so they want a UI view controller this time. Okay. All right, let's do this. So basically they're saying this is a table view, this is a table view, but this last one over here, they want to be just a regular UI view controller. So just type in view. Actually, you don't have to do UI. Just do view controller, and there it is. Throw that all the way at the end here. Click here in the white area. Control, drag, show. We gotta connect some code to this now. So we're gonna do File, New, File, Cocoa Touch class. But instead of a table view controller, we gotta choose a regular old view controller. There it is. You know, it's going to be called menu item detail. All right. Okay, so I made that file, and it shouldn't be there. It should be over here in the controller stuff. I made the file, but I didn't connect it. Did you see that? So you connect it by selecting the view itself. Oops, no. This one. Select the view, go up here, select the view, go up here, and choose the menu item detail controller. So this one's the table view, menu table, this one's the category, and this one is the order. Yeah, okay. Let's pause here for a moment, get a sip of coffee, and regroup. Okay, I've had a moment to breathe, and now it wants us to define the models. So, of course, when we talk about models, we're talking about the data, and let's start with the menu item structure. So each item should have properties that correspond to the keys listed in dictionary from the API. So I've got a trick for this one. Well, let's go to localhost :8090 menu. If your server is still running, then it'll do that. And if not, start your server up and copy this. So I'm going to copy this code here. I'm going to open up. If you're taking the class, then you'll have access to my handy links. So go to Google Drive or go to Canvas and search for my handy links. If not, I'll give you the URL for this thing. But handy Swift programmer links, 265 edition. And there is a special, here we go. Automatically create structures from a JSON file. All right, so I'm going to go here to app.quicktype.io. And here's the JSON over here, and here's the structure over there. So I'm going to select all this, delete it, paste in that menu bit here, and look at this. Boom! So it made a structure for us based on what we got there. So I'm going to copy this over here. Copy this. Actually, let's copy this whole thing because it's got foundation in it and everything. And minimize this. This might not be perfect. We might have to fiddle with it just a little bit, but that is a really good, easy starting point. Because if you mess up that data model, then stuff just won't work. So File, New File. I'm putting it inside the model here. Make it a Swift file. Just make it a blank old Swift file. We're going to call it menu item create. I'm going to paste everything I got here. I might do a separate structure for this welcome. I don't know why it's its own thing, but let's make it its own thing, sure. So File, New File, and I'll make a new Swift file, and we'll just call it welcome. Just to keep things a little bit separate, because okay. So let's see here what we got. Structure, item, it's codable. Great. Didn't they want it to be codable also? Let category and item description be a string. Let the price be a double. Let the image URL be a string. ID int. Oh man, this is great. I'm loving this. So that's a site you want to bookmark for sure. Okay, done. Now what? Okay, so there is one different thing, which is they want us to make another structure and call it items. Now, I'm not going to change they want it to be called menu item. I'm going to leave it as item. Might be like that for a reason, so I'm not going to mess with it. But I am going to do what they said and make a second structure. And, oops. I mean, this is a little weird. Even in the book, it's a little weird. So you got the structure called menu items and items inside of it. So menu items. You'd think it'd be more like menu.items, but whatever. Now we've got items.items. Yeah, I guess I'll make it what the book says. So I'm going to call this one menu item because they want it to be called menu item. And I'll call this menu items. See the difference? So basically this is going to be a structure that contains all of the a list of menu items. You could do it that way. I mean, I usually do it a different way, but I'm not going to go into that. Plus my way might be dumb. Okay, the API could also be used to return a list of categories. Put this new file, oh gosh. Put this new file in a file called intermediarymodels.swift. How about no? How about we call it what it is and not put it in a intermediary file.swift? We're going to make, so we've already made one for the menu items. We're going to make a Swift file for categories and a Swift file for preparation time and a Swift file for order. Basically, anywhere we saw that code, the JSON code, we're going to make a Swift file for that. We're not going to just throw them all in some generic. I mean, you can do that. That's what the book says. That's fine with me. But let's just call it what it is. Like, why not actually make the separate files? That's just lazy. I'm going to make a new Swift file. Call it order. I'm going to make a new Swift file. Call it category. What's the other one? Preparation time. Order, category, preparation time. Prep time. Alright, so now in our model we've got a bunch of different things. Now we got to actually put the code in these. So we're going to go to that handy dandy website again. So I'm going to pull up this website here, delete everything I got over here. Now we got to go find our little local host. So instead of menu, I'm going to put in, what was another one? Category? Categories? Okay. Put in categories, copy all this, throw it in this thingy, hit enter, see what it gives us. Great, I love it. Isn't this great? This tool's awesome. So now I select categories and paste that there. I'm going to actually rename this categories because that's what it wants me to say. Oh, interesting. Okay, the welcome has the categories in it. Welcome items, welcome categories. So instead of that, let's do category, structure category, and categories inside of it. Welcome, I see. This is supposed to be item. So that welcome is probably incorrect. And items. So let's, I'm going to actually delete this welcome file altogether. I think that was a mistake on my part because I think down here is where, I think it just probably just throws welcome in there if it doesn't know what to call it. So category, categories, menu items, items. I see. So I'll just do categories, categories. That's weird, but okay. All right, what else? Order. So the structure, order, prep time. I don't think that there's a prep time. So if we open up this app again, let's see what we can click here. Categories, that's one. And see, the categories is just an array of strings, right? So let's just make sure that matches. Categories, codable, and array of strings, yeah. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Menu items, we already did that one. Images. All right, so it didn't say do anything about images. So I guess I'm not going to worry about that for now. But it did ask us to create a prep time one, and there's actually no data for that, so that's something we're creating on our own. I'm going to paste it from the book here. What they want it to look like is this. Structure, preparation time, codable, prep time of an int, and here's the enum with the coding key and everything. Doesn't like this space here. There. How do you like that space? It did want, there was another thing, order. It wants order. So let's take a look at the order. Here's a structure they want for order. Sure, let's just throw that in there. Whatever you say, book. Let's just do this. And if this is your own app, you'd have to think real long and hard about this, but they've already kind of looked at a lot of this stuff. So again, make sure the menu item matches whatever you've made the structure over here. And that's initializing with an array of menu items. Very cool. Okay, book. What's next? What's next? Add the networking code. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to pause here. This is probably where we're going to get into the second section of this video. So good job so far. This is the end of video 1. Doesn't like that space. How do you like that space? Okay.